Hello and welcome to Spur Economics. In this video, we will discuss the concept of stagflation, its causes, consequences, and what happened in the 1970s. Please be sure to like, share, and subscribe if you like our content. Stagflation is a phenomenon where we have a combination of stagnant economic growth, high unemployment rates, and high inflation. Typically, inflation occurs during periods of economic growth, but stagflation presents a challenging scenario where both inflation and stagnant growth coexist. Stagflation usually arises from a complex interplay of factors such as supply shocks, rising production costs, and wage pressures. These factors disrupt the delicate balance between inflation and growth, leading to a situation of stagflation. One of its main challenges is that conventional policy responses which aim at reducing inflation can further exacerbate the problem of stagnant growth and unemployment. This makes things tricky for the policymakers because it becomes hard to navigate through high unemployment, high inflation, and stagnant growth together. Inflation refers to the sustained increase in the general price level of goods and services over time. It is usually accompanied by economic growth and declining unemployment rates. In contrast, stagflation comes with the same inflationary pressures, but accompanied by economic stagnation and high unemployment. This creates a unique set of challenges and makes it difficult to tackle the problem. One of the key causes of stagflation is supply shocks. These shocks occur when there is a sudden disruption in the availability or cost of key inputs in the economy, such as oil or raw materials. Supply shocks can lead to a significant decrease in the production capacity of businesses, resulting in reduced economic output or higher prices. The stagflation in the 1970s occurred primarily due to the oil supply shocks as a result of the oil embargo imposed by the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries or OPEC. Another one of its causes could be a situation of demand-pull inflation and wage price spirals. Demand-pull inflation occurs when aggregate demand exceeds the available supply of goods and services. When demand outpaces supply, businesses may respond by increasing prices to match the higher demand, leading to inflationary pressures. When workers demand higher wages to keep up with the rising cost of living, businesses may respond by increasing prices to cover the additional labor costs. This cycle of increasing wages and prices can further fuel inflation while undermining the competitiveness of businesses and contributing to unemployment. Stagflation creates a hostile environment for job creation. As businesses struggle to cope with rising costs and reduced consumer demand, they often resort to workforce reductions and hiring freezes to maintain profitability. High unemployment rates become a characteristic feature of stagflationary periods, exacerbating the economic hardship faced by individuals and families. Stagflation significantly dampens investor confidence and undermines long-term investment strategies. Rising prices, tight monetary policies, and uncertain economic conditions make it challenging for businesses to plan for the future. Consequently, capital investment declines, hindering economic growth and perpetuating stagnation. It erodes consumer purchasing power and enforces difficult choices on households. Inflation reduces the value of money, making everyday goods and services more expensive. As a result, individuals have less disposable income, leading to reduced spending and a decline in overall economic activity. Additionally, it negatively impacts consumer confidence, further curbing spending habits. Stagflation poses significant challenges for policymakers striving to balance economic stability and growth. Traditional economic measures designed to combat inflation, such as raising interest rates or reducing government spending, may exacerbate the stagnation component. This delicate balancing act requires governments to develop innovative strategies and implement targeted policies to alleviate the effects on employment, investment, and consumer welfare. During the 1970s, the global economy experienced a period of stagflation. This unexpected phenomenon posed significant challenges for policymakers and economists because the traditional economic theories struggled to provide effective solutions. The stagflation of the 1970s was primarily caused by the OPEC oil embargo and rising energy prices. The withdrawal of the oil supply by OPEC led to a sharp increase in oil prices in countries like the USA, which subsequently triggered a wave of cost-push inflation. With oil being a key input in numerous industries, the higher production costs reverberated throughout the economies, leading to higher prices for goods and services. In addition to the oil shock, the 1970s also witnessed rising wage pressures. This was a result of increased unionization and strong labor bargaining power. Workers demanded higher wages to keep up with the soaring cost of living, which further fueled inflationary pressures. The high inflation rates during this period undermined consumer purchasing power and eroded business confidence, resulting in a slowdown in economic growth and rising unemployment. The combination of stagnant economic activity and elevated inflation levels created a unique and challenging situation for policymakers. Governments and central banks implemented various policy measures to combat stagflation. In the United States, for example, the Federal Reserve implemented tight monetary policy and raised interest rates to curb inflation. The abrupt increase in oil prices due to the embargo led to a surge in production costs in the USA, causing a slowdown in economic growth. Simultaneously, excessive government spending and loose monetary policy resulted in high inflation rates. The combination of stagnant growth and rising inflation led to a prolonged stagflationary period in the U.S. in 1970s. The unemployment rate in the United States increased from 4.6% in 1973 to 9% in 1975 during this period. Furthermore, the GDP witnessed a massive drop and inflation increased massively from 3.3% in 1972 to 13.5% in 1980. The United Kingdom experienced stagflation in the 1970s as well, much like the United States. Similar factors, including the OPEC oil crisis and supply shocks, contributed to the deterioration of economic conditions. The inflation rate in the UK was as high as 24.21% in 1975, increasing from 2.48% in 1967. The GDP growth rate in the UK was negative in 1974 and 1975 and fell to -4% in the first quarter of 1974. Additionally, labor disputes and wage price spirals further exacerbated the situation. The UK government implemented various policies, such as wage controls and austerity measures, to combat stagflation and restore economic stability. For more content on economics and econometrics, take a look at the links in the description. Thank you for watching. Please hit the like button, share and subscribe if you liked the video.